COSM, finding the downside we were looking for from yesterday's analysis. Let's go ahead and find out exactly what can happen for the next trading sessions. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this fine Tuesday night. This is ARCa coming at you with a COSM Technicals, Raw Price Action, and Statistical Thread of Analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. Okay, so guys, before we get started, I am not going to lie on this one whatsoever, but I have been looking at the charts for about 30 minutes and have noticed signals that are potentially going to lead to another downside and signals that are literally giving us nothing but headway to the upside. This is a really tough one today. Okay, so let's just go ahead and go over all of those puzzle pieces. So first of all, we did speak about yesterday touching our newly converted resistance into support because we do need that validation. Okay, since we reclaimed the channel 2 days ago and we broke right above it again and reclaimed the outside, the typical playbook rules are to come back and test that newly converted resistance into support from the broadening descending wedge that we've been looking at for quite some time now. Okay, so we did get that today, and it did face a pretty substantial bounce to the upside as per expected. Okay, so yesterday's analysis, we did mention the potential of us finding a bull trap here. Okay, so I can't call that just yet, but let's go ahead and move on with the charts to see what I mean by that. Actually, let me look at the 12-hour chart and see what the pre-market did. Okay, so what the after hours did. So after hours actually ended up closing at about 8:01, rejecting that upper trend line that we had on the daily. So 8:01 would actually be right. Let me draw a trend line here so we can see that 8:01. Here we go. Okay, so this is actually now the new trend line. So we did reject it from yesterday's high, or slightly from it. You can see that the wick actually came up right to the opening of the prior day's candle. Okay, faced that rejection, and then it actually came back down to the new trend line right here, which is $8.03. Okay, so these moves were actually kind of expected. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next chart. This is the statistical side of the analysis, and the reason why I'm saying we have an upside is because of all this. Okay, so this is a particular test, a back test that I performed that it involves volatility versus momentum, and we did get back some really good metrics. Pardon me, and some of those metrics actually are in play right now, and they're actually signaling a 100.378 move to the upside, and actually the upside accuracy from that statistical backtest is actually about 82.85%. So it's pretty substantial, and the iterations we're looking at are a total of 35. Okay, so upside you're looking at 29 guesses correctly to the upside. So we do have some pretty good metrics here that are backing it. However, I would bet more money if this had maybe 70 or 80 total iterations. I do speak of this often. Okay, so I want to make sure that you guys know that when we're looking at this is an okay number. Okay, but you know, the more odds we have, the probabilities do increase, and we have more chances, you know, to actually validate that upside. But as long as momentum is actually suggesting a continuation to the upside and we're in critical volatility, the play is still on. You know, the play is definitely still on for a 100% move to the upside. Now, the thing here is that it's becoming a little confusing because this is a straight shot to the upside and we're at critical volatility, however, not critical enough to be printing these one-day reads, these bars. Okay, so it's still in critical volatility, still suggesting an upside, so we can only imply that a potential 100% move to the upside can be from our current position, which can only lead us to about the resistance level from our previous highs, which we actually saw as 88 cents before, or around there. Actually, in this case, it would be around maybe about $17, $17.50. Okay, that's only if we were to imply that we're moving on the, you know, that we're applying the statistical metric from this point, because yesterday, if you do remember, I did mention that we needed the volatility component, which is this spectrum line, and the moving average both up into the critical volatility zone, okay, which is anything above this 90% trend line here that my cursor is hovering over. It's red. So we're in that right now. The criteria is met. The conditions are there. Now, what's getting me a little confused is this. Okay, we have. Okay, let me actually open up a single pane here because there's something of great interest within the 12-hour time frame for the divergence chart. Okay, so this is, we're looking at the divergence chart here, and this is usually divergences are the opposition of price action versus momentum, and momentum in this case represented by RSI. Okay, so we're looking at what you're looking at here on the blue lines, the blue iterations. Those are actually two drives of hidden bullish divergence and two drives of regular bullish divergence. Okay, so you're looking at the price action making the higher lows, and then you're looking at the momentum making the lower highs. Okay, so this is something that you actually could look into for yourself. That's why I have this diagram right over here for you. Okay, for your convenience. So if we're not looking closely enough, there could be a potential trap at place, okay, in place. Sorry. So, and this is what I mean by that is that the bullish divergences were confirmed with the closing of this candle here that was printed today at about 1 p.m. maybe. Okay, so that's, oh, I'm sorry, the timing is a little off in here. So it's, let's see, 12-hour, yeah, that was actually printed in the earlier side of the day. Okay, so that is good. You know, we started that upside move. It's looking great. But upon the closure of that following candle, I'm sorry. The 19th of December was actually yesterday. This was definitely at aftermarket trading. So at aftermarket trading closure, we actually were able to confirm the 4 bullish drives of hidden and regular bullish divergence. Okay, so we made that move to the upside. Now, upon the closure of that following 12-hour candle from today, we actually confirmed 1, 2, 3 drives of phantom regular bearish divergence. Okay, so that's, I mean, they happened back to back. And then we started getting a downside move, which actually ended up closing us at about $8.01. So I'm only expressing the areas of concern here so that you can see why there are several obstacles here that are kind of impairing us from seeing what could potentially happen next. Okay, so usually when this happens, I do remember like the teachings and all that stuff is just trust the data. You know, the data is saying that a 100% move to the upside is coming. So there is that potential. You know, there is a potential to where we can actually just fire that 100% move to the upside from here, you know, creating a jump from $8 to about 17 or 18 bucks. So, but there's no certainty behind that. I can't actually validate it at further than where we are now. Okay, so let's just open up. Let's just continue seeing what I mean here. Okay, we're going to start with the immediate short-term time frame RSI. This is going to be the 30-minute. Okay, so please know that the pink line is actually representing a 14-day moving average. The purple is representing the RSI signal itself. Okay, so this is where a lot of the confusion actually comes into play. 30-minute time frame is pretty much suggesting a slight upside based on the moving average, and also it's just literally neutral in direction for direction in the RSI signal. The only thing bearish that I see here is that we are approaching the deeper areas of what's called the bull weakness percentile, okay, which is actually this zone right over here. So you can actually see that the upper half is the bullish control zone and the lower half is the bearish control zone. Okay, so we're literally in the deep or approaching the deep areas of the bull weakness percentile, and that usually signals a potential downside continuation. The good thing is that we are trading above the moving average, so we can actually come down and find support from that moving average and continue to the upside, but that's no guarantee. Okay, let's look at the bi-hourly. So the bi-hourly is also smack right in the middle, in the junction between the bear weakness and the bull weakness. This usually suggests sideways trading. Okay, so bi-hourly is also neutral. Now here's the 6-hour time frame. Take a look at the 6-hour, just right near that junction as well. It's right near that middle. And also when we're here's something to know. Okay, so usually when we're in these shallow areas of either zones, a gravitational pull back into the opposing zone or the following zone are usually expected. Okay, the only hint we're getting here is that the moving average is slightly pivoted towards the upside, and it can be used as a form of support. But again, this is signaling a potential sideways trading event. Okay, now let's look at the daily. Sorry, let me put that back to 6 hours, and then let's look at the daily now. Okay, so this is the daily. Wow, okay. Here's the daily. Okay, the daily is also suggesting some sideways trading since it is right at that junction between the bear weakness and the bull weakness itself. Okay, the only hint that we're getting is from the moving average. It's still suggesting a downside continuation, which is in accordance with the buy daily, to where the buy daily is in a nosedive. Okay, so the buy daily is the only reason that I'm suggesting that we could potentially look at that overall low that I've been mentioning over and over, and that would be the 476 or 475 zone. Okay, so right where that little tiny gap is located, you know, the one that I'm wiggling here. So if we can, I mean, if we're going to take the advice or the suggestion from the buy daily chart, then yeah, you know, there is a potential to where we can do that. But I mean, everything else is kind of opposing that. The data is suggesting upside. All of the momentum oscillators are suggesting sideways trading with a little bit of a bearish touch, maybe a tiny little bullish touch. Like it feels like there's something brewing within the asset, and it feels like we're pensive about something. Okay, so if you guys know about any type of fundamental catalyst that is expected, that could possibly be the reason why the asset appears to be pensive or anxious. You know, so there isn't much price action happening right now, and it feels like it's because it's waiting for something to happen. If you do know, please let me know in the comments below, and we can discuss, you know, what could be happening here. But still, my bias is still for the data to the upside. As long as we do maintain this upside continuation and in critical volatility, the upside is imminent, you know, if we're going to trust the data by itself. So yeah, I'm sorry that this video couldn't be a little more, you know, a little more exact. It's just I don't have a crystal ball. You know, I don't predict things. I can only tell you what the chart is saying, and that's what the chart is giving me now. And the chart, in particular to COSM, is giving me like it's thinking about something. It's pensive. Okay, so yeah, please, if I know that I'm not a financial advisor, take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as a form of entertainment. Okay, please do your own DD, and everything will be just fine, you guys. Okay, I'll make sure to leave the links in the description below if you'd like to discuss further. Discord is going to be located right down there, and also the Twitter handle is going to be right down there as well if you'd like to visit. Okay, you guys, if you'd like to trade like me, and if you'd like to eventually share some charts, which I am going to be releasing a package of, and again, it's actually going to be particular to the Crypstex indicator holders. Okay, so whoever is using the Crypstex indicators will gain an access into trading with me and looking at types of strategies used with the ARC indicators. Okay, so they are available to you. Make sure to send me a message. Know that the subscription-based indicators are not part of the subscription that you would choose for TradingView. Okay, so it's a separate purchase. Okay, so in this case, you can see that the short signal is still firing on the 1 hour on the hourly chart for the ARC indicator. Okay, so. And it hasn't printed along yet. So there is, man, this one's tough right now, you guys. So let's discuss it, okay? We can continue discussing this. All right, so with that said, I wish you well. I wish you a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.